Hello. It's day 126, if I remember correctly. I'm sticking to the 0.3mm pencil because ultimately I just feel like that this thickness of lead gives the best practice for writing, as it's the most unforgiving, I feel, and the one that requires the most precision subsequently. My thumb hurts a little bit from excessive mouse usage, but gonna be taking a couple of days break, and I do believe I should be recovered fairly soon. At least that's the hope. But enough dallying. Let's get into things I want to recite here. I will likely need to refer back to prior entries that have been done post 100 days. But overall, I'm feeling a little encouraged about this objective I put forth for myself. Although the writing stands a little bit to be desired. But that's also why I just chose a more difficult pencil, so that I could be more faithful to myself and how my writing skill has actually come along. I'll figure out what I want to do with my numeral ones, because right now they are at best time consuming. Okay, Hunger Games has been done. Small blurb here that it is kind of nice that I actually set down to committing to memory something I saw from a reel. Maybe gives hope to, this whole idea of saving reels that are filled with content that would be interesting to commit to memory. It's like I actually don't know the name of the voice. I only know its legacy, not it itself. Perhaps that is cause for concern, as is the fact that I have no more space left to write. No, that is so sad. What a poor sense of spacing. Although perhaps, I suppose I just need to remove the forename. And of course it's written miserably. The level of control this thickness-led demands is quite taxing, which is why I feel like if I'm approaching it correctly, this is the most effective way for me to learn. Although this might be incorrect. Maybe I'm adding too many layers of indirection to learning how to write, or improving my writing rather, but it's fine, we'll move on. Okay, so we've done this. Anything else worthwhile? Right, what are the 4 ways to recover from debt? You lower interest rates, or have them, you alleviate interest, you reallocate money from the rich to the poor, to the poor, the government prints money to buy bonds and assets from the central bank, and what's the 4th? I don't remember. Let's go back. All right, it's spending itself. You just stop spending, right? This is kind of silly of me to forget because it's so trivial, but apparently it's just something, it's kind of annoying that the trivial stuff is so easily forgotten. Because when we mark something as trivial, oftentimes it's just because it's so fundamental to what we're learning or thinking about that it should just be not known, and then it just becomes not known. It's kind of embarrassing. I read some good stuff here, and I think the rest of this I'm fairly capable of remembering. Right. But so I think I'll just need to include this. subject matter into my recitations. However, this will be mostly abridged just so that I remember the big stuff. It's good that I did sit down to start learning about this stuff, but I need to remember it as well. What kind of annoys me is that I think my memory capacity is fully reached, or it's likely that this is the case, and I do not want to supplant anything else residing in my head, but unfortunately it seems like that's inevitable. Which has also led me to wonder the question of how often I think long-term memory items should be reviewed before, in order to ensure they remain for at least the most of your lifetime. And I'll figure that out, I suppose, some other time. Right. Add the word abridged here. Because I really don't need all of it, I just need to summarize the main points. Hopefully I can do that, because it's one of my weaker points. Okay, I think that's about it. So then we go to the to-dos. So first up, quotes. And I'm actually going to need to be doing this in italics, which I have never done with this hand before, or in significant extent in a very long while, so bear with me as the quality of this is very likely to be subpar, which is fine, because that is to be expected, and is not something I'm terribly concerned about, as I am generally slow at crafting these letters in italics, even with my other hand. And my brain truncated itself and looped around, and I wrote the complete wrong words. That's okay, because we're back. Kind of. Still sloppy. There we go. Mice and men. It's not too many that I committed to memory, to be honest. Although I wished to have done more, I just ended up tapering off at the end. Mice and men. There is one recitation I would like to learn. use this. And then there's a couple I would like to memorize. Specifically, I would like to memorize the opening sonnet of Romeo and Juliet. And I love how I forgot to write this in italics, but I can't be bothered to care as of this current moment. And then one more. I also need to review my italics font so that I may actually reproduce it more faithfully. I don't also think that preamble is the incorrect word to describe the part I'm referring to, but it is the word I'll stick to for now. It is what it is. And is there anything else that I would like to commit to memory? I think that's about it for now. Okay. Fine. Unsure if I actually want to memorize any genuinely mainstream songs, as ultimately I can just pull those up as desired, I think. So it's just going to be the patriotic songs as originally intended, for the whimsy of it. And for most of these, I'll primarily be only memorizing the first. I don't even know what it's verse. Probably no, not verse. Is it versed? I cannot remember. It's all right. I suppose in the spirit of patriotism, I should also memorize the Pledge of Allegiance. Or recite it, rather, because I do have it memorized. It's pretty ingrained in my memory, especially considering it's a daily occurrence in school, in K-12 schools. It's not something I wish to forget. I think it's a very interesting part of culture. Maybe not cool, but interesting nonetheless. Also, in case I need to pull it out of my butt, I'll at least have it on dial. Butt dial? Okay, I am getting a little bit too comfortable in these recordings. Perhaps as it should be, but I would like to try and be a little bit more professional than devolving into immature degeneracies. At least not to that extent, at least not yet. Okay, anything else? Poems. In its own category, because it will be reciting the whole thing. The reason I put the sonnet for Romeo and Juliet in the quotes section is because I consider it a part of a greater work. Meanwhile, these are not quite. Just thinking if there's any others I'd like to commit to memory as well. Oh, I forgot something. I would like to perhaps commit to memory Sherlock Holmes' very last words to Dr. Watson, canonically. So I'll list that down. They were very cool. Okay, Nothing Gold Can Stay, The Raven. Is there anything else? I think there was one more poem I might have wanted to remember. Oh, right, wait, there's also... this poem. What's that poem about the girl who ghosts continue to sell cockles? And something, alive, oh, I can't remember it. Captain, my captain, like, that one, I feel like it's very close to being something I'd want to remember, but I think it just barely is off the mark. of something I desire to commit to memory. Now, are there any other... I mean, Rick Riordan's that one was kind of a meme. I don't think I terribly want to remember it, but let me see. 7 half-bloods shall answer the call. To storm or fire, the world must fall, an oath to keep with the final breath, and foes bear arms to the doors of death. Not really prime, I guess, prose, if you will, but yeah, it's cool. Nothing too outstanding, I don't think, question mark. There's definitely someone out there who's memorized all of the prophecies uttered in Rick Riordan's books, and that would be pretty fun, honestly, and awesome. I don't think that person should be me, at least not for now. Okay. And then... I don't know. Proverbs? Ultimately, I might have to keep those in the back pocket for a little longer. I will make a maybe section. I think that's ultimately what I would need to do. And right now, I'm also trying to remember the things, other things like that I might want to commit to memory. Is there another poem I care about? Yes, The Path I Traveled. The Road Not Traveled. Maybe. I think that one also belongs in the road, in, like, potential. Okay. Anything else that I feel I would want to remember? Or, recite? It's funny, a lot of this time is whiled away because I'm trying to wrestle with the inner edifices of my mind, because it used to be my strong suit, but it's decayed into something quite sadly and nastily underwhelming. But that's okay. For now, as long as I can recall it eventually, it should be okay. Because I can recall it eventually, it's just going to be a matter of when I remember it, I need to add it to this list. That's all. There. There is one. There's two. Road not traveled. I think. What a time. I forget the name of this band. I'm just gonna put down my best guess. I think that's all I can recall off the top of my head for now. But I think this is a good list to work with. And this entry has gone on for fairly long, so I do think that it's not a bad time to draw it to a close. So with that, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a better day than me. I will not read it out, but it still stands. Appreciate y'all. See ya.